The Death Penalty by Victor Hugo. Introduction. Victor Hugo gives some insight on the death penalty in this quote. Look, examine, reflect. You hold capital punishment up as an example. Why? Because of what it teaches and just what it is you wish to teach by the means of this example? Thou shalt not kill? And how do you teach that thou shalt not kill? By killing. Gentlemen, I criticize that law to take a man's life. What are the circumstances? A man, a convict, a sentenced wrath, is dragging on a certain morning to one of our public squares. There he finds the scaffold, he shudders, he struggles, he refuses to die. He is young yet, only 29. Ah, I know what you will say. He is a murderer. But hear me, 2 officers seize him, his hands, his feet are tied. He throws the 2 officers. A frightful struggle ensues. He uses the scaffold against the scaffold harrow, seizes the crowd. The officers sweat and shame on their brows, pale and panting, terrified, despairing with know what horrible despair, shrinking under the public reprobation which ought to have visited the penalty and spared the passive instrument, the executor, the officers strive savagely. The victim clings to the scaffold and shrieks for pardon. His clothes are torn, his shoulders bloody, still he resists. At length, after 3/4 of an hour of this monstrous effort, of this spectacle without a name of agony for all to be understood, agony for spectators as well as for the condemned man, he hoists on the scaffold and his head falls. And then, though very conscious, runs a shudder. All feel jointly implicated in the deed. It is at this very moment that the young man's breast escape a cry of pity and of anguish, a cry of horror, because my son cries out against this. You would punish him, and in the face of the facts which I have narrated, you would say to the guillotine, thou art right, and to pity, thou art wrong. Gentlemen of the jury, it cannot be. Gentlemen, I have finished.